Welcome to Book World with Karen Reborn. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe.
Hello everyone, welcome to Book World with Karen Reborn. In case you're new here, kindly consider subscribing to this channel. So today I want to talk about how to read and understand a book. And with a book I mean a novel or whatever kind of a book you're going to read. There are tips that are going to help you understand. Most of people struggle with reading books. Number one, because you might read the book to the end and you don't even understand a thing, or you miss out the important points. So it is important to know how you're supposed to do it properly, and that will help you even to concentrate when reading the book. So to begin with, number one thing that you get to know, every book has a title. The topic of the book, there's a title in that book. First, jog your mind around the topic that is given in the book. For instance, I have my book here that has been my favorite book for the last few weeks, and I've been reading it, and I don't even want it to. I don't want to be done with it. So, this is a book called 100 Years of Solitude. And the author is Gabriel Garcia Marquez. Gabriel Garcia. And very soon I'm going to be analyzing this book in this channel. Let's just keep subscribing and keep coming back so that we can check if it's finally there. So every book has a title, just like I was saying, and in this book we can see that it's written 100 Years of Solitude. When you read the topic 100 Years of Solitude, what comes into your mind? I said number one thing, jog your mind around the topic. The topic of the book, we have 100 Years of Solitude. You should first ask yourself questions. What comes to your mind when you see 100 Years of Solitude? You get to see that this is someone getting separated. There are a lot of things that will come in your mind. I don't want to talk about this book, but a lot of things will come in your mind when you see the topic. For instance, different books have different topics, but every topic has a meaning, and they have whatever they mean inside that book. So, for instance, there's a book that I analyzed, the Dark Continent, My Black Ass. That book, if all you can all remember, you could read the topic, Dark Continent, My Black Ass, and you're like, what does this topic mean? Because it doesn't even match everything that is inside the book. But if you just have to read through the lines carefully, you get to understand something about the book. So number one thing that you need to do, jog your mind around the book. The topic, I mean. The next thing that should come into your mind, every book has a synopsis. Most of the books that I've been reading, I find every book has a synopsis. There's that paragraph or a line that speaks about whatever is inside the book. For instance, you can see this part. Yeah, that part we have, it talks about what is inside the book. Most of the time, after reading this part, you get to see the lines in which you should be concentrating on when reading the book, because the synopsis will give you what is inside, but in a very brief way. Not everything will be said here, but at least most you can pick some points and know how the story is going to be inside that book. So you should also read the synopsis to understand, and then ask yourself questions about the same before going to the book. And that is you ensure that you analyze everything that is in the cover. You analyze everything. For instance, here I can see a woman, I can see a bird. Those are the details that you're supposed to be looking at before you start reading that book, because they will help you know on which line you should concentrate when reading that book properly. So, away from that, I said that you should also read the novel keenly. You know, for you to read keenly, it means that you need to be in an environment that even promotes reading. You can't be in a noisy environment and you expect to understand what you're going to read. So the next thing you should do is just ensure that the environment that you're in is favorable for reading. So that you just concentrate on what you're doing, and that alone. And being keen when reading, that means that you will also ensure that you look at the important points as you read, what comes into your mind as you read, the words that keep popping as you read. And me, I always prefer that most of the time when I'm reading, I have my pencil with me. If the book is mine, I have my pencil, I have my book, then I write inside my book. I underline points, I write inside the book. I don't think if you can see. Okay, I write inside my book, I analyze points, okay, that will help me to remember. And most of the time you find out that when reading, once in a while or most of the time, it depends with the writer of that book, you get to see that there are some words that have been used in that passage or in that book that you don't understand. It's better not to ignore, because those words might be carrying a meaning that you should have before moving to the next paragraph. So to be on the safe side, ensure that you have your dictionary with you, that you get to understand each word. If there's a word that has been used that you can't understand, you have to go back to your dictionary, search it, then read it to understand. Then when you come to read the passage, it will be easier. Don't guess meanings. Okay, it is okay, but sometimes you should not rely so much on guessing. You don't know the meaning totally and you still guess it there. It might cost you, because you might miss a very big and important point in that paragraph that contains that vocabulary. So you should be familiar with the vocabularies by searching the meaning in case you don't know one. And that will help you so much and understand the book as you continue reading. Another point that I've listed here, you flag the points with sticky notes. A lot of people, on my side, I prefer writing them, but someone else would prefer just having some sticky notes. You flag them inside your book, which is okay. It depends on the way that you want to go while reading your novel. So that depends with the person that you are. You can as well use your notebook. You read as you jot down the notes in your side notebook, which is still very fine. Another thing that you should also go back and read the highlighted points. You know, when you're reading, there are points that you just highlight them, you just underline them, you just write something, you highlight something in your book. You just get a paragraph and you just want to paraphrase it and write it in that book. It is very okay to do that. And after reading, you should always go back to read. You read the highlighted points. They will help you remember the scenes that maybe you had forgotten. They will help you remember and look back. So it's best that after reading your book, ensure that you're going back to read your highlighted points that were inside that book. That will help you. And then another thing, you review your introduction and summary. There is a summary of the book. At the beginning, you get the summary, the introduction. Then at the end, you get the summary, how the story ends and everything. And even what we've talked about here, you get to read and see if truly it was the same thing that you're reading inside the book, which they will always match unless it's a different book that we don't know. But for this, you'll find out that whatever is here is what is inside, but this is just brief. So you get to review your introduction, you get to review your summary in order to ensure that everything is working on so well. And then lastly, you should also involve others in talking about this. For instance, I have a friend that we prefer talking about books after reading. We'll just give each one a task. We say that this week we are going to do Shreds of Tenderness. And so we'll be sitting down and reading this book together. She will read as I read. Then after we are done reading, we will meet and just talk about the book. That will help you remember those points. And there are some points that the person will be able to tell you that you didn't even see in the book. And through talking and being together and discussing more about this book, you get to learn that you are missing some points. You get to understand the book more and more. So it's advisable. Even if you're using this for homework, you're reading for schoolwork, you should at least get a group of people, a few people that you can just trust they will read, because not everyone will read a book. But those people that you trust, if you tell them, let's do this, they will go and do it. Then you meet together. On your meeting, what you should concentrate on, listen to other people's view. What do they think about the book? What did they learn in the book? What was outstanding in the book? Through that, and you bring yours together, you'll have a lot in store for you that will help you with understanding that book, and it will even stick after you've discussed it with someone else. So it is advisable to do that. And also, don't be so too hard on yourself that, no, I need to do this in this particular time. Just have your free time, do it. If you feel that today I've read enough, this is I can just let it be, it's enough for me today, it's okay. You can just let it be, relax. Then when you're free, you can go and continue reading. It's not something that you should be too hard on yourself, that I must ensure that by midnight I finish 4 books. And then you're there sitting, straining. You'll end up just reading through the lines, but you don't understand anything. So it's better, as a good reader, as a person who is dedicated to reading a piece of work and understanding it, you should ensure that you follow, you be so keen on how you handle yourself when reading a book. So the tips I've given you, like how many tips? Like 6 things that we should do when analyzing a book, to understand a book, when reading a book, to understand. And this will help you do your book well. For assignment, you can understand a book, and you can even give a short essay. And most of the time, what I could do in school, most of the time I could read my book. After doing that book, I would just write everything down that I remember from that book. After reading, I write anything that I remember, and that will help me to even master the book so well. And I don't think if you do that, you could forget. Even after 10 years, you can still say, I read this book, this was the topic that was discussed, and this, because we all remember Hadithi za Bunuas that we read in high school, because we concentrated on doing it in the right way to understand, because everyone was talking about Abunuas, and everyone wanted to know who is Abunuas. So that is a Kiswahili version if you don't understand. And everyone wanted in school to know more about it. And most of the book people talk about them, Chinua Achebe, Things Fall Apart. You want to read it and see. So because of curiosity, you even concentrate to understand every bit of it. So again, don't be too hard on yourself. Just read to understand a book. And these tips are going to help you in case you want to read and understand a book. For schoolwork, for your personal gain, it doesn't matter. But for you, even if it's a difficult book, these tips are going to help you. Thank you so much, and bye-bye. Thanks for coming again, and thanks for subscribing to my channel. In this journey, we are together. And kindly, in the comment section, kindly leave the topic that you want me to discuss, the book that you want me to discuss. I will come back with it. We are back finally, and it's going to be a great journey. Thank you so much, and have a blessed time.